My name is Alanis King, and today we have this, a 2024 Audi Q8 Sportback S-Line e-tron quattro prestige.
Wait, what's the name of it?
Audi Q8 Sportback S-Line e-tron quattro prestige.
There you go.
That is like 6 names, and we are gonna go through 6 things I like and dislike about this car. So we're gonna do 5 things I like, 1 thing I don't like so much. But first, I noticed that a lot of y'all, you watch my videos, right? But you haven't subscribed yet. Come on, hit the subscribe button. Tell me in the comments what you want to see in the future, and we can get more cars like this and have lots of fun. Now, let's get to those 5 things I like.
Let's do it.
All right, so this is the Audi Q8 Sportback S-Line e-tron quattro prestige, and that means we have 300 miles of range, about 400 horsepower, and we have this sloping rear roof. And the first thing I really like about this car is I like some elements of the styling, right? So if we come over here to charge the car, you press the little button, and if it were unlocked, that would come out. Oh, it came out, yay, sweet. Okay, so you press this little button, the charging door comes on and off, right?
Pretty nifty.
I also really like the interior. I'm not so hot on the exterior, but I think you are, husband.
I like the look of this. What do you guys think? I mean, it's got that really nice Sportback on it, which actually adds, is it 11 miles of range to the car just by having the sloping back on it. So I kind of like the look of this, you know? There are no black fender arches on it. They're all color matched.
No cladding.
Alanis doesn't like the grille so much.
Yeah, so the Sportback I think is fine. I think if you have an electric car, you don't need a grille and you need to own that. I think automakers who are still putting grills on electric cars, they just want them to look like normal gas-powered cars, and I think we're kind of past the need to do that. You have an electric car, own it, really start focusing on your EV styling. I don't think we're doing that yet here, but overall, the exterior looks fine to me, and my husband really likes it.
I like it, and when I look at this, look at how flat the badge is. There's
I like the flat badge.
There's no dimension to it. I guess that's for aerodynamics, maybe?
Maybe
an
for
aerodynamic badge?
Maybe to make it look futuristic. I don't know. But let's get to the part I really like, which is the interior.
Mm-hmm.
We get inside this car, and sure, there's nothing like really wild about the inside of this car, right? Like, it's just a normal black interior,
right?
But I think all the finishes are really nice. So you get in here, you have this nice wooden dashboard trim, you have all the nice stitching. I think it's very simple and just clean in here. You have little mood lighting that runs around it at night. In the dashboard, when it gets dark, the e-tron logo lights up and there's like a little backlight to it. I think the interior is a really nice place to be, especially when you're driving really long distances.
Yeah, I mean, this is a luxury car, and it has luxury finishes to it. There's nothing in here that really stands out. You're like, wow, that is unique.
No.
This is pretty much what you would expect to see in a normal gas-powered luxury car interior, and it certainly checks all the boxes.
It's just well done.
Yep. All right, so we talked about what you like first. What's the second thing you like about the car?
Second thing I like about this car is how wonderful it is to drive on the highway. This is a road trip car right here.
Yep, so it has 402 horsepower when you're in dynamic mode.
Yes.
And with how heavy this car is, it's not the fastest EV experience, but it's certainly not slow.
No.
By standard car metrics. You know, it is still a very quick vehicle. It gets you where you need to go.
And it's so nice when you're going there.
Mm-hmm.
Third thing I really like about the Audi Q8 Sportback S-Line e-tron quattro prestige is our infotainment system. So Audi has a thing called the Audi Virtual Cockpit. We have 2 screens right here, and then we have a digital driver instrument cluster. I really like this setup because oftentimes when you are driving a car with a touchscreen, there's not enough touch feedback on it. This car, like Lamborghinis, has very harsh touch feedback. So if I click vehicle, you can feel on the end of your fingertip that you have touched something, almost like a button. And also you have to press it kind of hard for it to go. If you're just wiping the screen down, often you won't press anything, which is fantastic. I love this display. I love how you can use it and kind of know what's going on. I also love that this little bottom screen becomes like a little finger drawing pad if you want to search for locations in the navigation. Really good setup here. I think in terms of automakers doing touchscreen infotainment, this is a very, very good one.
Yeah, it's got some similar features to another car that we recently reviewed in the RS7. If you want to go in your navigation and you don't want to actually type in the letters, you can actually draw out with your finger on the bottom pad, and it'll recognize your handwriting. I think that's pretty nifty.
It's super cool, and I've done it a bunch of times. I've tried a bunch of different words, and it has honestly never gotten it wrong. It always gets my handwriting right, and the idea behind that is that it's easier to just draw with the end of your finger than it is to find keys on a keyboard, and I agree. Another thing I really, really like about, I'm not even gonna say the name, I've said it so many times in this video, the car. Another thing I really like about the car is that sometimes, not all stoplights, but some stoplights, when you go to the stoplight, it will tell you how long until a stoplight turns green. And I'm not sure exactly what technology allows it to know.
It's magic.
It's magic. It's magic. We don't need to know anything about it. All we need to know is that it's magic. You pull up to a stoplight, and this car, if it's a stoplight that communicates that information.
Not all stoplights.
Not all stoplights, but if it is a stoplight that communicates that information, it'll tell you when the stoplight's turning green. And I think that could be like a good thing in some cases. Right now it says 5 seconds. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ah! That was it!
And we're green. So my question is, if our car can now talk to the stoplight and it knows when it's going to go green, why can we not tell the stoplight that we want it to go green?
It's like the pedestrian walking thing.
Yeah, can we take this to the next level and tell the stoplight to turn green? We have the technology, apparently.
Oh, can you imagine sitting here and pressing the stoplight button and it just goes, wait, wait, wait. That would be really funny. It's very cool. It feels like magic. Oh, let's see if this stoplight does it. I don't think this one does it. I think I've been to this stoplight and it doesn't do it. And then you get to a stoplight and it doesn't do it and you're sad. And you're like, oh, I want to know when it's turning green. It makes you feel like you know something. But the flip side of that is I feel like if you were in a hurry and you had a stoplight counter, you might be a little more stressed out. I haven't been in a hurry in this car yet, but I think it's super cool. It's not something I have seen in a car before. And when it first happened, I was like, what? What is happening? Who did this? So cool.
So a lot of times on the Sportback roofs of cars, you get really great styling, but it compromises the interior headroom of your backseat passengers. Is that the case in this car?
No, and that is the fifth thing I really, really like about this. So if you look on the outside, the Sportback kind of starts behind where my head would be as a rear passenger. So I'm right here and I have plenty of headroom. I also have like a little bit of a dip in the roof that dips upwards, so I have even more headroom. I am about 5'8.5", and I have tons of room right here. I also have quite a bit of leg room. I can stretch out. I do not feel compromised by this Sportback, and I think that's just kind of a testament to some Audi interiors. Like, you can push and pull your headrests forward if you're up front in this car. And I think that is a big comfort thing, right? It's also comfortable back here as a rear passenger. It's just really nice.
Yeah, and so your rear passengers not only have lots of headroom, they have their own AC controls. And this side can have a different temperature from this side.
Exactly.
So you really have 4 climate zones in this car.
Yes.
And that's just a great testament to Audi's interiors and the quality of this vehicle.
Totally. And I also have seat heaters back here on both seats back here. I don't have vents. Front seats have vents and heaters. Back seats just have heaters, but you can kind of be in your own little world in this car. It's nice.
Yeah, if you have your kids back here, they're going to have a good experience.
Yes, they are.
Not quite the experience they have in the front seat, but it's still a great ride.
Good enough. All right, we're at the one thing I don't super love about the Audi Q8 Sportback S-Line e-tron Quattro Prestige, which is that this car does not have traditional one-pedal driving, which you see in a lot of EVs. If you don't know about one-pedal driving basically means you don't have to use the brake pedal. So the way you modulate the accelerator is actually what determines how you slow down when you approach stoplights and things like that. So traditionally, if I'm in a one-pedal driving EV, when I take my foot off the gas, not the gas, the accelerator, there's no gas. When I take my foot off the accelerator, the car starts to slow down, and it starts to slow down in varying degrees of intensity depending on what regenerative braking intensity level I chose. So maybe I choose level 1 and it's very calm, level 2 and it's in the middle, level 3 and it's harsh. Your regenerative braking takes the kinetic energy from stopping the car and adds a little bit of charge back to your battery, and one pedal driving allows you to use regenerative braking all the time and slow down at stoplights and do all of that. This car does not have traditional one pedal driving, so it does have regen, but the regen is like a very odd setup where it's not super strong and it's integrated into different parts of the car. Like, it's not traditional regen where I take my foot off of the pedal and it starts to slow down. This car does drive more like a gas-powered car in that way, in that I put my foot on the accelerator and I put my foot on the brake. It doesn't really slow down on its own. Now, I can go up and down on the regen levels on my paddles, but it doesn't do much for me. Like, there's just not a lot of good regen action here that I can notice and that I feel like I'm getting something out of. And I think one of the benefits of regenerative braking is when you can feel the car slow itself down, you know that charge is getting added back to the battery. And if it drives more like a gas car in that way, you're not sitting here going, oh yeah, I'm adding charge to the battery, I feel good about this. And I think if you're an electric car, just like the grill thing, you have to embrace that you're an electric car and do what electric cars do, because people who drive electric cars who are maybe shopping for a new electric car, they're going to test drive this and they're going to be confused as to why they can't one pedal drive, and also why they can't harshly feel that regen working.
And I understand why Audi would leave it out. You want it to feel like a normal transition between a gas car buyer and an electric car. You don't want it to be a shocking transformation. And this, for the most part, feels like a gas car when you're driving it. But that doesn't mean that Audi couldn't have just made it an option, you know?
Put the option in there.
Why is it not an option in the menu? Hey, turn on, turn off one pedal driving. Almost every electric car nowadays, you can enable that feature if you want to. Why don't we give the driver the option to do that?
Totally agree. It's just like the creep feature. So if you don't know about creep, when you're in a gas-powered car and your car, if it's an automatic and it's in drive, the car creeps forward when you let your foot off the gas. Creep is a very gas-powered car feature. In an electric car, creep is often not enabled, but you have the option to turn it on if you want to. Sometimes when I'm adjusting to a new electric car that I'm driving for the week, I will turn on creep just because it's a little jarring if you go from a gas-powered car to an electric car and there's no creep, and you just have to press the accelerator to do something. It can be a little jarring. So it's just like creep. Have the option for it, because people who drive EVs will want that, and people who are getting adjusted to EVs will probably appreciate the other way. Do the best of both worlds. That's how you transition in this era of going to EVs. You don't just want to date yourself by leaving yourself back in the era of gas cars. So that was 5 things I love, and one thing I don't love so much about the 2024 Audi Q8 Sportback S-Line e-tron Quattro Prestige. Overall, good car, enjoying my time in it, and yeah, can't wait to see what other cars we drive. If you want to see those, hit the subscribe button. If you want to tell me what you want to see, leave a comment. And if you like this video, please like this video. We'll see you next time.